Yeah, all four.
What's the
Oh, I
significance
didn't write
for
on.
Is there a significance?
Good, right? Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kishanu v'mitzvotav,
Vitzivanu.
Passover.
Passover, yay! Very good.
Aha.
I knew.
Easton has agreed to recite the tale of why we're celebrating Passover.
All right.
Right.
You go, Easton.
A long, long time ago, the Jewish people were slaves in Egypt. They worked very hard for the king of Egypt, and they did not have any freedom to come and go as they pleased or to practice their religion. They were very sad and could only hope for a miracle to set them free. The king of Egypt wanted to keep them there because he could work them day and night, and he did not have to pay them because they were his slaves. It came to pass that a young Jewish boy named Moses was noticed by the king, and he liked Moses quite a bit. Because of this, Moses had some influence with the king, and he was treated almost like a son by him. Now Moses was very special. He could talk with God. No one else knew this because his people were so unhappy as slaves. He went to the king and begged him to release the Jewish people from slavery and let them go to the land across the sea, Israel. The king would not listen to Moses, even though Moses was very well liked by the king. Moses pleaded and begged, but the king would not listen, so Moses asked God for help. God told Moses to tell the Pharaoh or king that unless he free all the Jewish people and let them go to Israel, that very bad things would happen to the Pharaoh and his people. Moses went to the Pharaoh and told him what God had said, but Pharaoh did not believe him. Moses told the Pharaoh that there would be no rain for a long time, and all the vegetables and crop Pharaoh would die, and he would not be able to feed his people. The Pharaoh did not believe him, and sure enough, it happened. Their bodies and that his cows would all get sick. This also happened. Now the Pharaoh was very concerned, but still he would not let the Jewish people go. Then God told Moses that the angel of death would fly over all the houses in Egypt, and that all the boys' children would be killed if Pharaoh would not let the Jewish people go to Israel. He also told Moses that all the houses that had Jewish boys in them to place a mark with a lamb bone over the door, and those houses would be spared. All of this came to be, and after that Pharaoh told Moses that he could lead the people out of Egypt to Israel. The Jewish people were so excited that they packed whatever they could carry, and because they did not have time to bake bread to take with them, they just took the bread before it was ready, and that is called matzah. So ever since Pharaoh let the Jews go to Israel, every Jewish family teaches the children of the story of Passover, and we celebrate it each year.
Very good.
Very good. Actually, after that explanation, there's very little we can do.
We have to step hard thing.
But
Yes, well, we'll make
in
it.
keeping with tradition,
Yes, we have to.
we will attempt it. God bless you. Blessed art thou, O eternal our God, King of the universe, creator of the fruit of the vine. Blessed art thou, bless you, O eternal our God, King of the universe, who selected us from among all people, and exalted us among nations, and did sanctify us with his commandments. And thou, O eternal our God, hast given us festival days for joy. This feast of the unleavened bread, the time of our deliverance in remembrance of the departure from Egypt. For us hast thou selected and sanctified from amongst all nations, and that thou causest us to inherit thy holy festival days. Blessed art thou, O eternal, who hallowest Israel and the festival days. If anyone knows the Kiddush, they can recite it. No takers. Then on to page 6. Top of page 6. Blessed art thou, O eternal our God, King of the universe, creator of the radiance of the fire. Blessed art thou, O eternal our God, King of the universe, who hast made a distinction between holy and not holy, between light and darkness, between Israel and the other nations, between the 7th day and the 6 working days. Thou didst also discriminate between the sanctity of the Sabbath day and the sacredness of the festival, and didst consecrate the 7th day in preference to the 6 working days. Thou didst also separate thy people Israel, and didst sanctify them with thy holiness. Blessed art thou, eternal, who makest the distinction between holy and holy. Blessed art thou, O eternal our God, King of the universe, who has preserved us alive, sanctified us, and brought us to enjoy this season. Everybody can take a little sip of their wine. It's good stuff.
Great wine. Grape juice.
Okay, we wash the hands.
Okay.
Now we need some parsley.
Where is all the extra?
Mark, I believe it's behind you. A little bit of salt water.
Dad, with this beard, it's like old times.
Old times.
It looks
like
so,
Moses
it looks
is
so
sitting here.
familiar. Yeah.
I don't need this part.
You gotta dip a little bit. A little bit. That up, boy. Okay. Don't eat it yet.
Don't overdo it.
Don't eat it yet.
One
Don't eat it yet.
One.
Soon.
I think these are all reasons.
He'd like that, 'cause he's big and strong.
I like getting strong.
Come on,
Well, not that way. Okay.
that's enough for me. Pass it.
Easton.
Could be a bread.
It's like,
Easton's like Pam. She
Did
takes
you
this
dip?
very seriously.
I have.
Did you notice? It's like having Pam here.
It isn't the best of taste.
There you are. Enjoy.
Take our little dip.
And eat.
After Easton dips. Hang on, don't eat yet.
Wait, we have to wait.
Don't
for
eat,
Easton.
don't eat.
All right. Wait, Easton has to do ours.
Wait until you're told.
Okay. Now, everybody taste it?
Okay.
Mmm. Good stuff.
Delicious.
It's all
Yeah.
gotta eat it.
Just take a little bite,
He's like,
just a little bite, just a little piece.
Blessed art thou, O eternal our God, King of the universe, creator of the fruits of the earth.
good boy.
All right.
It's good.
Yeah.
Now we're breaking the middle matzah.
Hi. She's just like, she's just like,
She
this
was
is good.
I really do.
She won't eat anything but hamburgers, but this is good.
Okay, Dori.
This is just like old times, Dori.
All right, page 8.
We have to have a little levity. It's
Page
part-
8.
part of-
Everybody,
Yes, yes.
this is the bread of affliction, which our ancestors ate in the land of Egypt. Let all those who are hungry enter and eat thereof. And all who are in distress, come and celebrate the Passover. At present, we celebrate it here. But next year, we hope to celebrate it in the land of Israel. This year, we are servants here. Next year, we hope to be free men in the land of Israel.
This is
Israel.
Okay, does everybody have enough wine?
everybody have a yes.
Okay, now, the youngest person at the table,
Uh-oh, it's the time for the
the
question.
youngest person at the table, little Matthew, gets to ask the questions, the 4 questions. Okay, Dad's gonna help you, if you
He
need
knows,
any
he
help.
knows
He
the
says
first
he
one
knows
cold.
Okay, first one.
First question.
Why is this night different from any other night?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
He told me
Very
that.
good.
He told me that.
all right.
Do you know what the next one is?
Grandpa's gonna give the answer?
He's gonna answer the question.
Any other night? No, you got, okay, you just gotta do one at a time?
Now you do all 4 in a row?
Well, he knows 2 of the answers,
Oh,
but he doesn't know all 4 of the answers. I'll have to help him.
okay.
Okay.
Give me a hint.
2 words.
He did
Sounds like.
He did very good.
Okay. You want him to read,
Any other night?
okay,
Just tell him and he'll repeat it.
all right. Okay, Matthew, you want to repeat after me?
Good.
Any other night,
Any other night,
we may eat either leaven
We may eat out of the leaven
or unleavened
or
bread.
unleavened bread.
But on this night,
But on this night,
only unleavened bread.
only unleavened bread.
All other nights,
All other nights,
we may eat any
any
species of herbs,
species of herbs,
but this night,
but this night,
only bitter herbs.
only bitter herbs.
All other nights,
All other nights,
we do not dip even once.
we do not dip
Even once.
even once.
But on this night, twice.
On this night, twice.
Last one, sit down. All other nights,
All other nights,
we eat and drink either sitting
we drink and eat other sitting,
or reclined.
or recline.
But on this night,
But on this night,
we
we
recline.
recline.
Very good.
Yay! All right.
Very
Always
good.
have some.
Now,
Good.
you want the answers to those questions, don't you? Yeah,
I
right.
want a copy of the video.
Okay, all of us on bottom of page 9, everyone in unison, because we're gonna answer the questions.
Okay.
Because we were slaves unto the Pharaoh in Egypt, and the Eternal our God brought us forth thence with a mighty hand and an outstretched arm. And if the most holy, blessed be He, had not brought forth our ancestors from Egypt, we and our children and our children's children would still be in bondage to the pharaohs in Egypt. Therefore, even if we were all of us wise, all of us men of knowledge and understanding, all of us learned in the law, it nevertheless would be incumbent upon us to speak of the departure from Egypt. And all those who speak of the departure from Egypt are accounted praiseworthy. Okay. Now, Mark, you want to continue page 11, second paragraph there. Blessed be thee.
Blessed be the omnipotent. Blessed be he who hath given the law to his people Israel. Blessed be he whose law speaketh distinctly of the 4 different characters of children: the wise, the wicked, the simple, and the one who hath no capacity to inquire.
What says the wise son? He asks, what are these testimonies, statutes, and judgments which the Eternal our God hath commanded you? Then thou shalt instruct him in the laws of the Passover, teaching him that after the Paschal lamb no dessert ought to be set on the table.
What says the wicked son? He asks, what mean you by this service? By the word you, it is clear he doth not include himself, and thus hath withdrawn himself from the community. It is therefore proper to retort upon him by saying, this is done because of what the Eternal did for me, when I went forth from Egypt. For me and not for him, for had he been there, he would have been thought worthy to be redeemed.
What says the simple son?
What says the simple son? He asks, what is this? Then thou shalt tell him, with a mighty hand did the Eternal bring us forth from Egypt, from the house of bondage.
What?
Abraham from the other side of the river and led him throughout the land of Canaan and multiplied his seed and gave him Isaac. And I gave unto Isaac